Hey everyone, I just wanted to come back at the end of the day and fill you all in on how the rest of my afternoon went. As some of you know, I had my pre-op appointment for the vertical sleeve gastrectomy today, and it was a lot of information. It really was. So just bear with me. I'm going to be kind of navigating through some of the notes that I took and some of the notes that I had to ask him prior to that. So anyway, a little bit of a backstory. I'm Brianna, 29, North Alabama. And if you want to know any more about my background, I have a blog page that will be listed in the description below, as well as all of my associated sites, Instagram, Facebook, and all of those little venues. So go ahead and get that out of the way. Please like and subscribe to my channel. That would be a blessing to me. So thank you in advance for all of your support, and all of you who are following me already. Thank you. It's been great being able to share this with you and experience all of the support and engagement. I really like being able to talk to a lot of you guys. And if some of you saw my post on some of the support groups the other day, your feedback was hilarious and also much needed. So thank you again for engaging with me on that. So let's kind of fast forward and get through it. I do want to let you know that I had planned on videotaping my entire appointment, but they were kind of camera shy today and they didn't want to be on camera. I did take some really great photos, and we'll try to get those on maybe the gallery on my blog page. So just kind of stay tuned for those posts later on. We'll get to them. I also want to let you know that this is just going to be kind of a recap video. I have a lot of answers to a lot of questions that are going to be in this video, but I will go ahead and put them in a blog post. That way, if you don't have time to sit through however long this video is going to end up being, you have kind of a reference for what this video is. Anyway, I had some questions that I was advised to ask my doctor, along with some questions that I wanted to ask him myself. I've done the research for this surgery. I am prepared mentally, obviously, physically, I'm ready. So it's something that I'm really excited to do. I know I keep saying that, but I really am. I originally wasn't a supporter of the surgery. I really wasn't. It wasn't something that I thought was going to work for me, and I didn't think I was going to be able to do it. But, now that I've been able to wrap my mind around it, I really think that I can. I know that I can change my lifestyle and change my life, and in the process, help my family too. So let's go ahead and dive into some of the questions that I felt necessary to ask before my surgery. I wanted to know how I needed to prep my home before surgery. I live in the country and I have livestock and I have animals and I have daily chores that require my attention. And I wanted to know if I needed, a cane or, I know that seems really silly because it's just an in and out surgery, but you never know. Different lifestyles call for different things. But because of that, I also wanted to know how active I could be or if I was going to need assistance. And thankfully, I have a really great support system that I know would be more than happy to help me through this process if I wasn't able to feed my horses or make sure that the dogs come in and out regularly or chase my kids around once they get home after a long day. I also wanted to know what my pain level was going to be like because I have a pretty high pain tolerance, but I needed to know what pain triggers I needed to kind of keep an eye out for. The next question that some of you have seen me ask is about the number twos, okay? I know that when you're in the hospital and then you have surgery, sometimes the train doesn't move the way that you need it to. So it was a part of my concern. I needed to know if number two was going to come and go the way that it normally does or if I needed to be concerned at any point. And he gave me a very entertaining answer to that. He said, it'll come when it comes, but if it's not coming when you feel like it needs to come, then we need to talk. Stool softeners, I'm sure, will be a regular occurrence. So we will keep those on deck. The next question I had was about aches and pains, if those should ever, occur after math versions and at what level they should concern me. And as most surgeons will tell you, after your surgery, if there's anything to be concerned about, contact them about anything, but mostly you need to contact them if there's a fever involved. Anytime there's a fever after surgery, I feel like that's like ding, 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 call the doctor. Even if it's your kids, like if your kids have a fever and it's really high after some type of event like that, you're going to call the doctor. So make sure that you're taking care of yourself that way too. The next few questions that I had, I already kind of knew the answers to, and it's because I had done the research for picking this particular surgeon, and it wasn't just because he was in network, it was also because he was one of the top rated surgeons in North Alabama, and it worked for me. I wanted to know the infection rate and the success versus failure rates for my surgeon specifically. And your surgeons have those statistics. They know the logistics behind all of their information. So if they have a failure or if they have a mishap, they know about it, and it goes into their little numbers or whatever. And thankfully, my surgeon does not have a very high infection rate. The hospital is something that you need to check, because even though your surgeon's doing his job and making sure that everybody's clean that way, the hospital needs to. And I actually had 2 hospitals to choose from, and I chose the one with the lower infection rate specifically because that's what I wanted. I wanted to make sure that I was going to be in a clean environment, a comfortable environment, and know that I was going to be taken care of in a up to code manner. The next question I had that also kind of pertained to that was the leak malfunction. Do you have any complications during surgery? What are the stats for that? And my surgeon has an incredibly rare rating. So a lot of doctors will have, the occasional, thankfully, because it's a pretty self-explanatory surgery. They go in, they take something out, and then, they staple you back up. But I wanted to know what my odds were, and my odds are like 1 in 100,000. So I'll take those odds for, goal accomplishment. Moving on, I wanted to know what meds I was going to be taking and for how long. And before I even finished that question, she handed me this handy dandy little sheet of paper, and I'll kind of go over those with you. They gave me a pain medicine for after surgery. They gave me some nausea medicine. They even actually gave me a transdermal. I'm guessing it's something kind of like Dramamine. You stick it behind your ear. It's you have to bear with me, I don't know how to say this. Scopolamine. And I put that on on my way to the hospital. That way it helps with nausea after my surgery so that I don't create like a hernia from like gagging or reflux. And then I've got Celebrex and gabapentin. I will do the research on those later to double check and make sure that I feel comfortable taking those meds, because they will prescribe you something similar or other than that if you're not okay with those. You always want to make sure and check your side effects and make sure that you're okay with those. Next question I had was to make sure that all of my insurance paperwork was taken care of, and or what I needed to do to get ready for the paper trail. The other thing that I think a lot of people may or may not know about is, even though you're registered with your surgeon, you're not going to be registered with the hospital that you're having surgery at, and that's a completely different fee altogether. So I knew that I needed to make sure that I had paid my surgeon, as well as gotten prepped to pay for the rest of my surgery later on. So I'm expecting a telephone call from the hospital by Friday, and then of course the financial end will be handled by Monday. So all of that is taken care of, and I'm ready for that paper work all to be done and kind of moved along. And then, of course, the next question I had was about pre-op diet. A lot of surgeons require you to do a lot of different things, and they're doctor specific. Some pre-op diets are going to be, 2 weeks, 1 week, 4 days, 3 days, 2 days. You never really know. My doctor only requires 24 to 48 hours, depending on your, your liver numbers. My liver numbers were mildly elevated, but it's just due to fatty liver, because you know. So, he's not requiring me to do any extra, but told me that if I wanted to extend my pre-op diet a little ways, that I was more than welcome to do that, but on my own terms. I'm allowed to have one full meal before my surgery, and of course it has to be, before midnight before my surgery. My surgery is at like 6 a.m. on the 11th, so right around the corner, and we are ready. And those were basically all of my questions. My final question for my doctor was, what can I do for you before surgery? And I think that that's something that not a lot of people even think to ask. And I kind of already assumed what my answer would be. He graciously denied me anything that he would need before surgery. But, he does this for me. And I know that surgeons, it's their job. And this surgery is something that, it's in their job description. And it's what they do. And they're getting paid to do it. But, you are asking them to help you help yourself. And this is a tool that I'm going to be able to use to accomplish my goals, to be happier with myself in my marriage and as a mom. And, this is a gift that I'm giving to myself, but he's got the knowledge and the tools on his end to make this happen for me. And I wanted to make sure that I was going to be doing everything that would make this go as smoothly for him as he's making it go for me. Because honestly, start to finish with this particular doctor, and even the difficulties that I had with my insurance starting out, this process went so smoothly. It really did. And if you want to know how easy that was for me, and some of the complications that I incurred in this journey over the past 6 months that I had to do with my doctor, and then the 3 months that I had to kind of hustle to make sure that that was getting approved the right way and they had all their paperwork squared away. If you want to know all those details, or if you have any questions about how that process works, I will be more than happy to engage in that with you. But I'll post some of those in a blog and a post later on. But for, right now and right now's purposes, it was fairly easy. He made this go easy for me, and I wanted to make sure that I was doing everything to make this go easy for him. And like I said, he graciously kind of turned me down, but he sat back and he was like, I don't think I've ever had anybody ask me that. And I was like, really? Like, nobody's ever asked you like what else they needed to do to get ready for this surgery? And he was like, well, yeah, they always ask me what they're supposed to do for them, but nobody's ever really asked me what they could do for me. He's like, I'm good. And I was like, good, me too. Like, it is what it is, but I just wanted to make sure that, if there was anything that I could do above and beyond what I was already being asked to do that would help me help him. And really all he said was just make sure that I followed the pre-op, I took the meds, and that I was, mentally and physically ready. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to extend my pre-op diet for my own brain a little bit further out than 24 hours in my own brain to justify this surgery. I feel like I need to be empty. I need to be empty. I don't know why. It's just, there's something wrong with my brain. Anyway, and then of course I got to see the nurse and do some blood work again after that. And note to self, drink plenty of fluid before you go in for your pre-op appointment. Whether you need blood work or not, you're going to need the fluid. And it took her a really long time to get it out, but she did a really great job. So kudos to her. But yeah, I got to meet with the nutritionist again and talk over the diet for post-op, and they gave me a pamphlet and they condensed it for me. But something I'm really looking forward to is testing out some of these recipes for, the liquids and the pureed foods. So you'll be able to stay tuned for that. Those are some things that, I'm really excited to share with you guys in further posts. It's going to get a lot more interesting in the next, 7 to 10 days. So be prepared for the good, the bad, and the ugly. I know that it's been kind of clean cut and to the point as much as it can be, in 15 minutes. But anyway, thank you so much for bearing with me today. And I hope you guys are on the right track, staying motivated, staying healthy, and staying happy. Have a good night.